Okay, good afternoon, gents. Hope everyone is well. As you can see, we have 90% off. I didn't think it would take them long to do something. I thought we may get 80% off and then 90% off come 4th of July, but they're giving us this one early, and it goes right up until, I believe, the 7th of July. So we've got it for 2 whole weeks. So that's good news. That makes trading, well, evaluations certainly a little bit cheaper. Now I'm going to pick up myself a couple on Monday. So that's good news. So I think it makes an evaluation about $17. That makes things a lot more affordable, doesn't it? So as always, my code's down there. If you choose to use it, it is much appreciated. So where are we? It is the 23rd of June. Another weekend will be in July. Unbelievable, isn't it? Doesn't seem 5 minutes ago since we were chatting at Christmas, does it? Breaking up for Christmas. Unbelievable. So, Groll Daddy, good morning. JP, how you doing, bud? Happy Friday to you, mate. So good news. So, good afternoon, Brick. How you doing? Hey, Woods, how you doing? Okay, let's see how we can get on today now. We have got some news in about 20 minutes. As we can see up here, Flash Manufacturing PMI Flash Services. I haven't got a clue exactly what it is, but there you go. I know it's there, and that's all that's important. So we started off having this leg down there. I didn't come in here, but now I'll tell you for certain. This push down and 2 legs up, that is got Penguin trading written all over it. Now I'm saying he would probably let that bar close and then drop his order in there. The trouble is, it's a bit more risk, that is. Obviously, I didn't do it, but there we go. So he'd probably wait for that one close and then dropped his order in. So he would officially have a 6.5 point stop, which is a fair old chunk, isn't it? And he may have gone 1-to-1. I don't know. 1-to-1. He would have got out before these lows. But, you know, if anyone thinks the market's random, look at that. We got 1 leg down, and I've made sure I've measured it accurate. Look at that. 1, 2, 3. You can't deny them measured legs and how important they are, and if you can catch them. And if you are a member of Max Group, he has a video that says enter on corrections. Well, the corrections don't get any more obvious than that. We have this leg down, and then we got a 2-legged correction. And as I mentioned, if you want to let that bar close, it is a bit more risk. But I suppose what you could do is switch from, in my case, switch from 2-to-1 contracts. So I'm only risking. And then if you think you can grab that whole move, and if you've got the confidence to sit and wait for that measured leg played out, it does it perfectly. You get your money. So that's something I want to try and get to a little bit further on down the line. But I wouldn't be prepared to risk 6.5 points on 2 contracts. So I'd risk half of that. But the more I see this, the more I see these measured leg plays out, the more I think about, you know, getting in and getting on them. Hey, Andy, how you doing? Rodian, good morning. So, yeah, see, I just keep an eye on these, and every time they play out like this, I get a little tally in my head, and it just, I mean, look at that. It's beautiful, isn't it? You know? So if you did, say, wait for that bar to close, let's say you got in, I don't know, right there, and you got out, let's say, a few ticks before the lows. I mean, look at that. There's an easy 19 points there. I mean, if you said to me, what is the perfect amount of points I would love for a week, it's 10 points. 2 points a day, 10 points over a week. So, I mean, if you took, you know, that trade, wait for that bar, and then just left it and let these measured legs play it out, look at that, beautiful. And it played out pretty quick as well. It was only sort of 8:30 UK time by the time that one kicked in. 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, 1:32. It's 5 hours. I mean, it's a fair old chunk, isn't it? But there you go. But this is just something I'm trying to learn more and more about. Now, I know a lot of, you know, sort of intraday traders would take trades like that and let them run out. And I'm watching more and more the Penguin guy, because I believe personally it's about getting as much as you can out the market, and, you know, so there we go. But hey, Sam, how you doing? What I will say quickly, and I'll mention it again later on the stream, I got a message yesterday from a guy saying, in fact, I'll read it, yeah. Not a nasty one, but just one, just mention it. Let me have a look. Okay. Which just made me think a little bit more. Let me see if I can find it. It was yesterday's, wasn't it? Live. Yesterday's. Okay, comment. Max strategy of 4 ticks profit with runners. Your trade today was a good winner with 4 or 5 ticks. Max said 4 ticks take profit is the highest profit percentage. He also even tried it with 2 ticks and 8 ticks, but 4 ticks was the highest. That's from years of his statistics. Okay, so what I will say is I went through Mac's charts last night for the last 8 days in a row, and he marked 107 trades. They're high probability ones and the green slightly risky one, and out of that 107, 105 would have made over 2 points. So for me, it's an absolute no-brainer to go from 1 point to 2. It's a no-brainer, and those 2 that failed actually happened on one day. But that's about 90. You're doubling your profit, and that's got an accuracy of about 98.5%. And for me, if you're doubling your profit every time that happens, if you did it, I don't know, market's officially open anyway, but there is some news, so I'm going to yabber on a little bit because it's probably going sideways because of the news. But it's just a no-brainer, that. Numbers don't lie. The maths never lies. So if I don't know, if you'd have made $100, if Mac had traded, say, 100 of those for $100 each, he'd have made 10 grand. I'd have made 20,000, and then I'd have lost about 500. So it's a no-brainer for me. So I get what Mac says. He's tried it, blah, blah, blah. But things do change. Market conditions change. And maybe Mac's looked into it years ago, but he's happy doing what he's doing. Now, obviously, having a runner changes the dynamics slightly. But what it doesn't do is change those numbers. And you can look back over the last 8 days. Just unbelievable. Unbelievable. So out of 107, 105 made over 2 points, 2 points or more. And just 2 of them made less than 2 points. For me, it's an absolute no-brainer. Even if it was sort of 80% or something like, it's still worth doing it. But that is 98. It's unbelievable. Traded 1 contract, traded with 20. It's not the same. I would also be on 4 ticks. Trading with 1 contract and trading with 20 contracts, I would also be on 4 ticks. Even just trading 10 contracts. So you just trade full 4 ticks? Yeah, I get it if people do it, but for me, and I've looked through his charts, it's what, 98.5%. Wilson, shush. 98.5%. Numbers don't lie. And when I started going from 1 point to 2 points, I looked at Daniel's charts for the previous 10 days, 2 weeks, and I think he'd marked 36 trades, and every single one of them made over 2 points. So that's why I went. So, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, their own way of trading. That's the beauty of trading. But for me, I struggled to earn money just trading for 1 point. But 1 contract, I go for 8 ticks, 10 ticks. Oh, yeah, okay, that's great, yeah. But I think 8 ticks, 2 points is the starting point, in my opinion. That's where it lies. But trading for 1 point now, if you can trade 15 contracts and scalp 1 point, and then the other 5, maybe it's 5 where you go for runners, I get that. That's fine. It's like the scalp, even 1 point, make sure your basic wage, and everything on top, make sure your runners. But Mac's smart enough to enter on trades like this and pick his runners down here. You know what I mean? So that's why Mac probably doesn't change it, because it works perfectly for him. But, a lot of people, I think the majority of people now go for a minimum of 6 ticks. So, but yeah, I just, so if I missed, Sam, how you doing? David, good morning. Sam, you can swing trade that way with micros. Yeah, I suppose you could, maybe put a micro or 2 there, and just let it run. And see if it happens. I mean, it's clearly happened there, and we see it happen many times. I mean, if you can get 20 points what is it, $5 a point? I don't know, but you can trade 1 or 2 or 3 micros or however. But I think over time, once you've been doing this job maybe 5 years, you'll be able to spot these a mile away. But that to me is a perfect penguin guy. 1 leg down, a correction, and we had another perfect leg down. It's just, I mean, look how many times that just bounced around there. Unbelievable. But as I mentioned, there's some news in about 10 minutes, so I'm just sitting out of this and I'm going to let it mess around itself. So, Rick, good morning. How we doing? Excellent. What? I've said hello to you, mate. How you doing? Rodian, how you doing? Indy, hello. Sam, hello. I think we've gone through all this, haven't we? Ramwolf, how you doing? Exponential Trader, good morning all. What's trading? Yeah. Jupiter, hi everyone. Hi to you. Arminda, how you doing? With a swing, trading one must ready to take heat, because when trying to catch more points, the price will typically pull back against you. Yeah, that's the key, isn't it? And personally, if I take a trade, say, I don't know, say here, I always like to get out on that first swing, because when the market starts coming back, it does strange things to your heart rate, doesn't it? So, but yeah, sometimes more than once. And as per your recent example, yeah. I mean, yeah, if you took that, most of us, you'd be on pins looking at that, wouldn't you? But over time, with experience, if you trust the process. Now, every time I see this, it clocks up something in my memory bank. And when you see it again and again, at some point, you can't deny it. When you see that and you think, hold on a minute, I know exactly where that's going. You know why I know? Because it's done it the last 98 times out of 100. It's a no-brainer. And I suppose people like Harminder and people like Sania and all that lot have the year's experience to be able to read into this and to know where things are going and to, you know, they might not. They might want to get out here, wait for it to come back again and then get out here. Because if it comes back and turns here and it hasn't come higher than this and the measured leg isn't played out, then you're going to probably want to get in again. So, but there you go. I just thought that was interesting just to see how many trades that Mac marked, and if there is any extra people watching now, over the last 8 days of Mac's trading, he marked 107 trades, 105 made over 2 points. It's an absolute no-brainer. Trading for 1 point, in my opinion, is tough going. Now, if you've got the luxury of trading 10 contracts and you can put 2 contracts on a runner, that's certainly a better option. But for me, it's got to be 2 points or more, or even a minimum of 6 ticks. And I know even people like Daniel and Marco now trade 6 ticks. But even coming up from 1 point to what they're doing 6 ticks is still, you're still getting an extra 50% profit. So it's a huge amount, really. So I just thought I'd bring that out just out of interest. Yeah. So Chris, good morning. Sam, how you doing, bud? Sam R. It's all right, we got a Sam Laker and a Sam R, so I have to make sure I get everybody. But yeah, so yeah, Friday, another week gone already. I can't believe the weeks are flying by. But yeah, if anybody didn't notice, the big 9-0 down there, we've got 90% off. And that is for 2 whole weeks, right the way up to the 7th of July. I didn't think they'd make us wait till that's it, and I just know that because I know how many commissions I get from affiliates, from affiliate links for you guys using that, and it hardly moves when it's at 50%, and when we get the 80%, it goes off like a rocket. So that's going to affect. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Now you could call that a triple test. And I don't think it's a bad trade at all, but we are near the news and I'm a little bit concerned about that. So 1, 2, 3. So let's see if that makes 2 points. I'm pretty sure it will. It's off the key entry point as well. Now you may get in that. Let's have a look. Yeah, 2 points, no problem. Okay, so if we didn't have the news there, I'd have taken that one. See, we come down, we go once, twice, 3 times, big bearish bar, right off the key entry point, perfect. You can't deny that one. Penguin took that trade we talked about yesterday. Yeah, the good thing is, and what I like about that is if I can spot what trades he takes, it tells me I'm starting to get into his head a little bit. And that was my aim, to try and understand you know, how he works and what makes him tick, because I think he's one of the best traders, I think, in our world, you know, in max sort of, and he averages, he has losses as well, but he averages profit about 6 points a day, which is massive. If I was taking 6 points a day on these two contracts, that'd be $600 a day. It's massive. So there you go. So, yeah, so we came up to this once. We came up to it twice, and as a final go, beautiful big bearish bar. I was tempted there, but the trouble is, if it does go a bit sideways and you get stuck in a trade with these high impact news events, you can get a massive spike. And I've had them go through my 2-point stop and take me out for 4 points, and I don't fancy losing $400 when I know the news is about to kick in. So as good as that looked, I think, certainly for a comfortable 2 points, I just had to let it go, unfortunately. So there we go. But, you know, if I'm going to do this for a living, I've got to make tough choices sometimes, and sometimes it's not worth the risk. So Jupiter 4 contracts to scalp 4 ticks and 1 for a runner. This is the way I try to do it. Absolutely. I think when you've been trading a while, maybe even a couple of years, I think you find your own way a little bit. We all learn a certain way. Whatever we learn in life, whether you're a carpenter or whether you're an accountant, we all have our own slightly different method of getting the job done, but keeping those basics in mind. So some people are a little bit more risk averse and they want a little bit more profit. Some people would rather stick to very small amounts, and you know, but we've all got our own different ways of doing it. I don't like this news. I don't like this news, which comes after market open. Yeah. I don't know why they time them these. You think do the news later on, but I don't know how it works, but I don't know the nuts and bolts of it. But did anybody take that? Did they? That bar there? Because I think it's a beauty in the grand scheme of things. Certainly for a couple of points. Let's go for about there. So it went down 3.25. So 3 points or less would have been there, and it would have been pretty quick as well. If I'd realised it would have been that quick, I might have taken it. We took that trade we talked about yesterday. Yeah, quite often I see those, but I can hear him saying we've got that leg down, 2 legs of correction, or 2 attempts to go higher. But what he does, and I've noticed this, he'll wait for the second bar, which I think is smart, because putting it there, you just don't know, and it's better to let it move a bit. And that, to me, a nice big red bearish bar that closes below the EMA like that, is telling me this is looking very probable, and straight away it came down very quickly. So even if you went, let's have a look, even if you went, I'm not doing anything now, I'm chatting because the news is about to go in. Even if you, say, came in there and put your stop there, I mean, you're out way before the bottom. So straight away you got 26 ticks there, which is actually, I'll be surprised. I doubt you'll take that because obviously he's probably not trading, but you'll be out there. You'll be out there fine. I mean, even if it does come back, and you know, it's trusting the process, isn't it? If your stop's up here and you trust the process, it's not a problem, and that's where the skilled trader comes in, isn't it? Hey, Sunny, how you doing? That's where the skilled trader comes in. Okay, there's another bearish bar here, but it's going a little bit sideways, and that's probably because of the news. But look, 28 ticks there. Taking that to there, 28 ticks. Wow, that's unbelievable, isn't it? 12, 24, so 1, 2, 3, 6, about 7 points in it, something like that. 7 points. Oh, I can't think off the top of my head. Exactly 7 points. I mean, wow. If you ask me, I would love to have an average of 10 points a week. 7 points in that one trade. So it's trusting the process. But every time you see this, I'm just going to extend this a fraction because it works. Every time I see this, it clogs something in my memory bank. And every time I see that pattern, it works nice. So there we go. Some food for thought. Food for thought. Struggle there a bit. Okay, so that bit of liquidity is gone at the moment. Let's have a look. You notice the liquidity is drying up a little bit at the moment. Close to this. There's some at 93. Probably where that was actually. Okay, there's some right there. Probably a touch below there, just a rough idea. And there's some at 80. And there's some at 85. So, but it is, in all fairness, going a little bit sideways here. So, now you may, do you know what? If it wouldn't have been in the news, I'd have taken that one. And I'd have seriously considered that one as well. It's another second entry off the key entry point. And that one would have made 2 points. Because it's going in this sideways thing, I'd have to keep mine to 2 points. Yeah, you'd have got 2 points out of that again. Lower high here. Would I have taken that one? Possibly. Let's see if this works. Okay, here's our bit of news. See what happens. Not a massive spike, but up in a very bearish bar. Look at that. Christ, that's tempting. Very tempting that, but it's quite a big bar and it may do a couple of more of them spikes. I'd say based by that, you're probably going to get 2 points, but trouble is it's okay trading the news in an evaluation, but if you've got a PA account, it can take out any profits in a second. Hold below 43.86. Yeah, I think we're due some downwards, aren't we? We're right at the top of this measured leg on the daily, I think. Hopefully that news, that might be it. Now there's a lower high there. In fact, there's a failure there. I'm so tempted, but I'm just going to have to sit tight at the minute. But I see it's probably going to go down nicely, that. But okay, nice and bearish, but it is still a little bit volatile. So I'd say it's probably going to push down. But if you'd have taken that, you'd have got 2 points. If you'd have taken that, you'd have got 2 points. If you'd have taken that, you'd have got 2 points. If you're taking this failure, you're probably going to get 2 points. We'll get a nice little channel down there now as well. I was really tempted, but it's still a little bit bouncing around. As tempting as it is, I'm really holding my self-control. It is also 90% recurring. No, it's 80% recurring, which is not too bad. You should be able to pass a evaluation in 30 days. They're quite doable. Okay, so there is a failure there, which has triggered, but it's going a bit sideways. But I would expect it to come down. There's strong liquidity at 80. Let's get that out of the way. But it's going a bit sideways, and just better be safe. 4392, but buy only if you get the dip. 4392. Buy. 4392, but buy only if you get the dip. But you on about buying, so you think we're going to be going up, do you? 4392, which is here. You're on about buying. So if it pushes above there and comes back. Oh, interesting, look. So if you'd have taken that failure, your arse would be twitching like a good one. Or is it going to trigger that and come back down? Okay, measured leg has played out. So maybe we are pushing up. So Sania, just confirm that. 4392, but buy only if you get a good dip. Are you on about buying if it comes back to there? You're on about buying. See if this bar triggers. Okay, it's triggered. See what happens. We're either going to push up or going to come down. And there was a failure there. There's a lower high there. The lower high would have made 2 points. The failure, you're still in. See what happens. But it is looking like... Oh, you know what I can see going on here? A leg and a leg. Which should take us up to that area Sally mentioned. Yeah, it's a buy. Okay, so ideally if we can push above there, come back, a pullback to around about this area. Possibly look for buys, but yeah, at your own risk. Sunny is saying, yeah. Fair comment. And there is a measured leg there. There's also 90. In fact, that selling's dropped. There is some at 93 there, which is about there. No, it's actually in the middle there, but it's not much. So yeah, maybe we've had that measured leg, haven't we? And we've had a little drop, and we've tried to go down again. So okay, so that news, not a great deal of movement there, but so maybe a break. It's not a massive break, but let's have a look. See, we come from here, touching. So it's definitely confirmed that top. It's not a convincing break, but we've bounced, and we might bounce a third time. So it might now be bouncing off this area. But yeah, wait for the push up and come back. Yeah, it's a buy. Okay, but in all fairness, bounce. It does look like a triple test, doesn't it? So after a triple test, the trouble is, the bit that's making me slightly nervous is because up until now, we've clearly had a downward movement. So buy-in, like I say, much better to wait for it to push up and then pull back and give us an indication that we've pulled out. So it is a small break. It's not a massive break, but it's a break nonetheless, I think, because it's so accurate working up there. So 1, 2, 3. Interesting Rhodian. Apex website for Trader sign-ups has crashed. Too many people signing up. Yeah. For Trader, I'm surprised actually. I mean, you think for Rhythmic it's a lot busier, isn't it? Okay, interesting. Okay, so we've tapped that around that area 3 times and we've pushed out. So if that's a break, so maybe we're going to push up, pull back, make a new low, and then continue higher. It's hard to say. I'm going to move that out the way because I know where that measured leg is. It's right here. You can consider wick also for parallel channels because all top side channels have wicks. Yeah. So if you took that one or that one, you made your 2 points. Even that one. That one I would have taken. That one, not so sure because it's above the EMA, but it is at the key entry point and it did work. That one, if we didn't have news, I would have absolutely taken. And I always come out around a couple of 3 ticks off the bottom, so I'd have been okay there, I think. So, try to go low on, so I go twice. Now, I would say there's probably some shorts there, so I think this bar is going to push up and close above here personally. But I might be wrong. We've had a break. Whether that's a convincing break, I don't know. That one certainly is. We could come lower, but I'd like to see it push up a little bit higher to these highs and then maybe retest the lows before it pushes higher. But I think the market's got other ideas. Now, in a downtrend like this, you know, any type of trade like this, people think, oh yeah, breaky. Oh, look, it's a second entry short. Beautiful. I'll take the short. Look what's happened. So if it breaks through there, it may break through there. There's probably going to be quite a few stops there, but because of the news, there may not be as many as normal. But let's see if it does break above there. Yes. So there's a failure there. So I'd say that's good for 2 points. Leg. I'm not getting involved at the moment. I want it to start moving in that direction before it gets me in, but SPY needs to move up. Yeah. Okay. Maybe a little bit of a pullback, maybe, but I'd be surprised if that doesn't get up here. May come back. See, it is a small break. I mean, that channel is pretty accurate. Touch, touch. It's pretty accurate, so that is a small break. Sometimes even small breaks are still breaks. Now, it hasn't made a new low, but it has had 3 attempts there to break below that line, and it's struggled. So I'd say then it's probably likely long the triple top at the bottom. Yeah, I did look at it. I just wasn't a massive fan of that. If it was like this, then if it was a bit lower, then I'd have probably taken it. But you know me at the moment. Well, I've gone from being a little bit carefree to being a little bit trigger shy, which I think is okay, but that'll come back, I think. But I like to move up and then maybe, you know, have a pullback or push up and have a correction and then have another leg, then maybe get in. So let's see what happens here. Yeah, it's slow. There's no, I mean, usually if there's news on, it'll do this little up, down, quick and spiky, and then occasionally, but it has slowed down a bit, so. Yeah, I mean, that was a failure for a starters. I think you're safe if you're in there. It does look like it's going out, but it may come back and have another go and retest. But to me, it has tried 3 times, and the shorts just might give up a bit now, and there is some aggressive buying going on. So in fact, I'm going to adjust that a bit because let's put that there. That looks a bit better. Beautiful. That's a much better angle. I mean, it may come back out here a little bit, in which case I'll stretch it. I'll change the angle a bit. But yeah, if you took that one, I think you're safe, certainly for 2 points anyway. There is some liquidity up here, some sell orders, which I'm guessing is probably take profits, but I think you're safe there. In all fairness, I wasn't a massive fan of the bar, but I get what you did, and it worked for you. I'm just a bit extra cautious at the moment, which is better than being the other way around, but it does keep me out of potential trades. Sometimes things aren't perfect, but like you say, if you know what's going on there, there's going to be a lot more taking that trade than not. Interesting. But I think what we have to be aware is it is going a little bit sideways there. Okay, yeah, can't argue with that. Let's get rid of that. Let's change this colour. Yeah, bring that fracture. Yeah, touch, close, touch, touch. That's good enough, I think. I also don't have your downtrend, just a range. Yeah, fair enough. The only reason I drew that is because touched here, you know, and it fits nice on the back as well. But this is clearly a break, so it may bounce off here, come down here, make a new low and push up, or it might not. It's hard to say. I'm surprised it's because of Trade of 8. I'm surprised it's crashed because of Trade of 8. You would have thought Trade of 8 isn't as popular. Still up. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Jonathan Cooper doing well, Lance. I'm doing okay, mate. Yeah, thanks very much. I'm in quite a good place at the moment. I was down $300 odd, and I will say I did come back later in the evening. I felt very calm, and there's a lot of the market left when I finish, and I took a 4.25 point trade, a long trade. So I think I ended up about something like 4.25. I ended up about $95 up per account on the day, as opposed to 330 down, I think. Trouble is, I only trade 3 hours. It's not a lot, really. It doesn't seem like a lot, but I know a lot of other streamers. Well, I know the Panda guy trades for about an hour and a half, doesn't he? I'm probably one of the streamers out of the few of us that stream for 3 hours. I think most others are done and dusted. Okay, so little channel there, clearly. Little break, new high. So I would expect it to come down and break this low. So whether it will or not, who knows? So 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch. Yeah, who knows? Some good luck. Yeah, there was yesterday afternoon. Yeah, or evening for me. But I took one and just, it looked really good, so and it was moving up, so I extended my stop, and I think it got up to 5 something points, and I just jammed my stop in and went, yes. You know what I mean? It's quite nice to get it back, but you've really got to be extra cautious. Okay, so that is now pushed up and hit that 39, so that now, let's get them out of the way. So that now, there's that little bit of liquidity now, so be interesting what happens, whether it breaks above there or what. In fact, let me just see if I can adjust this. Okay. Now, if that continues up there, I would say that's the channel there. So if we can get above there and maybe retest up here somewhere, it looks like it's going to push up strongly. There's probably going to be quite a lot of stops in and around here, maybe a couple of 3 ticks up or whatever, but got your 2 points. Good on you, mate. Yeah, it's useful to have Sania here and a few others as well, these longer term experienced traders helping us out. Hopefully we're a bit of company for them, because trading can be a bit of a lonely game, and they're good enough to give us some of their long-term experience, which is helping us less experienced traders, and it's kind of nice to do that, helping the newer guys out. The good thing is with trading, there's no real competition, because it doesn't matter whether I do well or not. It doesn't affect the guy sat next to me, so it's kind of nice. Now, there is a bearish bar there, and I kind of like that. So I would say that is probably likely to make 2 points, if it hasn't already, because it's broke above there and come down. But it obviously, whether this channel takes over, but I think if you took that, I think you're safe for a couple of points. Yeah, you've had your 2 points off that. I didn't take it. I'm a little bit extra cautious because of this. But it is, as well as a bit of a channel, it's a bit sideways as well, so you may not even have that channel drawn, but interesting. Now, I'd say there's going to be quite a few stops above there, so if we can maybe get a higher low. In fact, I could probably swing that in there. Yeah, you've got to be so careful doing here, because you don't know whether the channel's more important or the range, although it's hard to say. It could do either. So we've got a new low there. Technically that's a failure, but I'm not a fan of that type of failure where the first drop is further up, although I have heard Mac mention those. So if we can get above this and then come back, we'll get a higher low. But sometimes you take a higher low and it breaks above it and comes down, and what you've done is you've got a lower high and you've got trapped. So I'm a little bit extra cautious. So I think I've gone from one extreme to the other, but I think that caution then will start to get down as experience starts to grow more. And that's why you can't learn to do this job in 5 minutes. It takes a few years plus. Okay, so as soon as that breaks above there, I can see us having a bit of a pop, because I'd say there's going to be a few stops there. You may have taken that one, see, but after this, I just get a bit nervous. Be nice to get another leg down here somewhere. Yeah, if that actually gets above there, then I'd say then I think we are moving up. Okay, let's have a look. Yeah, if I took that, I'd probably have my stop here to guarantee myself a couple of points, and I'd probably have my take profit about 3 ticks above there. Because usually if there's likely to be some shorts in there, it probably jumps up 3 or 4 ticks sometimes. Yeah, there we go. Let's have a look. Yeah. Okay, so there was some clears, some stops there. Okay, so I'd say now, if we can get a decent put, as it's gone right to the top of this channel. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, so there is still the possibility. There is still the possibility it could come down and make a new low. I don't think it will. But you don't know, so do you? Now you could say that top of that range is maybe a bit higher, and this could be fading the range, but I'm not sure either or. We got yesterday's lows here as well, which seem to be playing a bit of a part. Now, once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. The way that dropped quickly told me there was some shorts above there, so I'm a bit nervous about going long there, in all fairness. I'd rather probably get out of this range. Yes, if I took that one, I'm not saying it's going to, but it's. I'm not a fan of when it does that. That last candle rejection, how is it? Yeah, it's something we don't use really. What is it? Volume weighted average price or something, is it? I'm not exactly sure exactly what it is. Okay, perhaps we are sort of working out now. If we continue to go higher now, if we can see Sania mentioned an area, didn't he? 86, did he say? No, something else. 4392, which is here, by above it on a pullback. So if we can get a second leg there, one leg, we might get one leg, two leg, and that would bring it down to about here. So that would be nice, actually. Whether it will do that is another thing. Come on, come down and bounce off here. That'd be perfect. Now this, if it holds down here and drops a little bit, that might be a really nice second entry long. Come on, come down, you git. Okay, that is a second entry long. Trouble is, it's just a little bit too risky in my opinion. Sorry about that. Oh, look at that. It did work. But the trouble is, it's just, it could come straight back down here really and then bounce. So it's just too risky. Hey. Oh, God, that's frustrating. Okay, so we took that one. It worked. It's a bit too in the range at the minute, really. And that one, possibility, it could come back down there. But now we're out, I think. Plus we could have a couple of legs of correction, and it's always when we have that couple of legs of correction I decide to get in. So sometimes getting in early, maybe a way, I don't know. But there's no, apart from being on the key entry point, a bit risky, I think. As long as it gets to the top of this channel every time. If we come back and we've been up here, then I've got no problem with that. 2 legs back. It's when it comes up only so far and then comes back the bit that's what makes me nervous. Yeah. I mean, the trouble is with Mac, he'll go take that one at the key entry point, but in the real world, in real time, it doesn't work that way. You don't get to see the after picture. Now, you see the after picture, it can't help but affect the way you look at the day, seeing that. And, like Mac, there was a channel going up, was it a couple of 3 days ago, like this, a very tight channel, and he marked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green candles. Well, if Mac marks 15 candles, okay, on the 21st, he marked 13 trades. Yeah, 10 of them were high probability. If they were really that high probability and easy to trade, he'd be a fool not to trade them. And now that's the difference between, and I don't mean that in a nasty way, that's the difference between after the fact and while it's happening in the real world. In the real world, it's just difficult to take trades like that. Maybe for Mac, who's seen these go up from here a million times, but, maybe for the rest of us sort of mere mortals. But after the fact, it's very easy to go, yeah, I'd take that one, I'd take that one, I'd take that one, I'd take that one, take that one, take that one. It's easy because, we know the result. But there is a possibility that might fail, or that might fail. So after the fact is so much easier. Absolutely, yeah. But the trouble is, when Mac puts that many trades, sometimes it does make you think, well, Christ almighty, if there's 14 trades, I need to be taking more. And sometimes it can make you take more riskier trades. Maybe take that one. But if it's a lot of the times, if it's only your first entry, it may trigger you and come down. So sometimes I have mixed feelings with Mac, marking so many trades. What I'd love to see him is mark the possible trades and then mark the trades he took himself. Because if he only shows 2 or 3 really high quality trades, it would show us whereabouts Mac lies in the spectrum of a riskier trade to a high probability trade. You understand what I mean? I think it'd be invaluable to us, but I have asked him before and he declines to say, and I don't quite understand why, because it would be mega useful. If Mac marks 30 trades here and he goes after the fact, he said, I took that one, lower high, and I took that one, then I would go, yeah, okay, yeah, I get why you took that one. But when he puts so many, it's hard to know which of them really, when you get more experience, then you can probably work out which are the better trades. But I think for newer traders, and obviously Mac puts those out for, Mac's package really is designed for the inexperienced trader. And I wish sometimes he would, because it would give you a bit more confidence, I think. I have plenty of self-doubt with Mac. Yeah, don't get me wrong, I think he's an absolute lovely guy. But he's an experienced trader, and it's hard for him to be in the mind of the inexperienced trader, not having a lot of confidence, because he's done all that back in the past. See, if that ends up bullish, it's off the key entry point, but you don't know whether it's going to trigger you and come back down, because it is just a first entry. So that's where it just gets a bit confusing sometimes. But obviously, the more experience you get, do you take that or not? It's off the key entry point. I can't. One, it's a first entry. Two, it's closed below the EMA. EMA's gone flat. It is possibility it could trigger you and make a break and then push up. So have a bit of a correction, which I think it's why it's always better and safer to enter on a second entry, because we've had 2 attempts. A first entry, it might go up and actually break. But a second entry, usually it won't go down again because it's already made 2 attempts to go lower. So even sometimes when Mac marks these all off the key entry point, if they're not a second entry, in my opinion, unless you're mega experienced, you've got a big bank balance, it's, it's very, very tempting to take these bars. Very tempting, but it could trigger and come down. And then there's actually your second entry. Then, unfortunately, the second leg is taking us out. But, and obviously, you just don't know, do you? Guaranteed, if I take that now, it'd stop me out. If I let it go, it'd rocket up. So that's where I suppose the patience comes in, and the reality that as much as it's tempting as they are, it's just not really a high probability setup, Retest it. Yeah, exactly. There could be a retest at the bottom. Now, we've had 3 sort of whacks here, and they're all a little bit higher, so whether it will or not, I don't know. And as we've experienced in a range day, it doesn't always make a new low. Now, some might disagree that that's a channel, but it's touching really nice at the bottom and a bunch of times at the top, so I think it plays a part. But yeah, see, it's frustrating. Every time it's come back here, it's gone up. Now, if it continues to do that for the next hour, Mac will probably mark these, but in real time, you just can't take them. Excuse me a sec, let me just kick this dog out. Sorry about Wilson. Tends to bark. Yeah, sorry for yabbering on a bit, but, I think if Mac sometimes just told us, after the fact, maybe put a little circle 1, 2 or 3 of the actual trades he took, I think that would be absolutely invaluable. Half of learning to trade is getting into the eye, getting into the head of the experienced trader. Now, when I first started to learn to trade a little over 2.5 years ago, I traded under a guy called Andrew Lockwood, and you can actually watch him trade for about 2 hours a day, and he did that 3 times a week, and he thought it was useful because, to see someone actually doing the job, because you always wonder, am I doing it right? Is this the right way to do it? Do the professionals do it differently? And sometimes it's good to see someone doing the job, and you think, oh, okay, that's sort of what I'm doing. It helps with that belief and confidence. And belief and confidence when you're trading is massive. But he's probably been asked 100 times. I've asked him once, and he always declines to. But he's got his reasons. I don't quite understand how that would make him in any way vulnerable. But you got to respect the guy. You got to respect his decision. I think he does a lot for traders. He does a lot for us. I think for the measly amount he charges us and the actual work he puts in, I think it's that tells me he's a genuine guy and he's not just out to take every penny off every person that he sees. He clearly puts a lot of time into it. Okay, so there's a double top there. So whether that is important or not, I don't know, but just might be where it's landed. There you go. Okay, so I think we've definitely pushed up enough in this to know we're moving up now, but it is still possible we could come down. I mean, we could have a big leg down, and then, I mean, I've done this and that's played out, but I mean, effectively, it could end up being something like this, couldn't it? At the end of the day, who knows? So it's a bit too early, but it's just one of those things. I mean, you know, we may end up doing something like this later on in the day, which sort of fits, or it may come back up here and turn into a range day. So there's that slight uncertainty. Okay, so it's tapped there 3 times now. Now let's see how this finishes. Not sure whether there's a measured leg there you might see. That might be it, I don't know. See what happens here. Still not a fan of these measured moves, especially when we're going up. Oh, I hate these. I hate these. I really hate them. It has broken above it a little bit. There's a lot of selling around about the 98, which is here. I hate these. I mean, it's a second entry short triple test. It's so tempting. And I get why you want to take that one. But in my opinion, because we're going up, it's just on the wrong one. 1, 2, 3 tests at the bottom here. Not only that, it's a failure. I'm more inclined to take this. I just wish it would close a bit more. But plan the trade and taking the trades are 2 different. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's good to see an experienced trader, just to see, you know, try and work out what's going on in his head when he's looking at these markets. This is really interesting, this. Let's see what happens here. I mean, it's a triple test, but in my opinion, it's a triple test in the wrong direction. I much prefer the 1, 2, 3 and then up some more. But it may just come down. You know, we may have a triple test. Okay, let's go lower and play this out. So I think it's 50-50 whether we come down or whether we close back here. But you've got to take into consideration going along into this. Okay, so if you took that triple test, it clearly got 2 points. I'm not. I just, for me, it's just a little bit extra caution. Okay, straight down, look. I mean, sometimes it's easy to get trapped in the wrong direction, isn't it? And same again. You've got to be careful here. It may come down some more and, you know, make some new lows, or it could push. It's just hard to say, isn't it? I think this is where Mac's experience comes in, because he'll have seen this scenario 1,000, 10,000, a million times or whatever. I just need to be confident so I know the right direction. Okay, so same again, first entry. It could trigger you and make another leg down and then push up. Or it could trigger you and then start working down. So hard to say. But it is frustrating when you see there. Every time it comes back here, right from here, it's made points. But you're not to know that. It is upwards, but it's also very sideways. So it's... it was odd with Mac. He obviously makes a lot of money from trading, but his son was never interested in learning it from him. Yeah, strange, isn't it? I mean, would I want my daughter to go into this? If it works for me and I make a lot of money, yeah, but it's not everyone's cup of tea. It's hard work. It's very frustrating. It costs you a lot of money. It can be absolutely soul-destroying at times. But I don't know, it works for some people. I mean, this would certainly be a backup for my daughter if I carried it on and it worked okay for me. But I would, you know, love her to go to university and become a doctor or a lawyer or whatever, you know, a professional career. She wouldn't maybe not need to then, but okay, so if you took that, it was a second entry short. I prefer triple tests when they come down once. They try 3 times to go lower in an uptrend. That's tried 3 times to go higher. And it's obviously having another run up now. Unfortunately, it didn't give us a higher low. It just rocketed up, and that is so much the story nowadays. It's so hard to get a decent setup nowadays. They're a lot more tougher now than I've known them since I started trading this style a little over 2 years ago. A lot of the time now we're waiting for setups, and they've already gone. I don't know, maybe it's something you've got to develop an eye for and adapt over time. I mean, markets change, life changes, everything changes, and you slowly adapt with them. I mean, there is liquidity up here. See, this may play out with that's a clear break, and we may come down some more. So, could be a leg, and then another leg, or it could be a correction of that. It's just hard to say at the moment, really. See, actually, you could call that the triple test. That really is part of the same one, is it? Once, you could call that twice, but this area it's picked off here, I would probably say that would more be the triple test. And that would have made you 2 points. Well, maybe not. Another tick or two. Looks like it's going to push through there. It's bouncing a little bit. Yeah, so... yeah, see, that one really is part of the same move, so I'd say that's more the triple test. Interesting. So he pushed up, made 2 attempts to go lower. What do we do here? Possible second entry long there. I just don't like this. If it has made a few attempts to go higher, it may trigger some longs and then drop. And this is all part of the reading the market, isn't it, and understanding what's going on. Could suck in some longs here, thinking, oh yeah, we haven't made a new high yet, let's wait for something. If we get half a decent bar, I'll jump in and it triggers you, and then wham. Scalp 3 points from the third test. Yeah, I mean, it was clearly bearish. I get why people think it was a triple test. It quite likely was. But for me, that was part of the same move. I would say probably. But that's after the break. So after the break, you would expect it to push higher. But yeah, there was certainly 3.5 points there, maybe a bit more. Now... 1, 2, 3, you could call this a triple test. In fact, I don't think that's a bad trade, actually. 1, 2, 3. We're trying to push higher. They just make me so nervous, these do. Okay, bounce, bounce, bounce. I would prefer a triple test in that direction. So for me, it looks like it's going a bit sideways. Let me have a look. Where's liquidity? 2, 3. What to do? What to do? No, I'm not a fan of this, I've got to say. There is liquidity at 98 area, so... okay, maybe that's okay. Let's see how it finishes. No, I don't like it. Don't like it, but Marco is taking these shorts. Yeah, possibly. You only scalped 6 ticks, see, so... yeah, I think he only trades. I'm sure he said, didn't he post something a while ago? He said he only takes 1 trade a day. He trades 3 contracts for 6 ticks, and trades for one trade. I think he gets just a little over $200 on 10 accounts. Okay, so after that, I'd say it's likely going to push higher. You got 3 bars there. We pushed that. We made 2 attempts to go lower. I think Penguin may take that. I don't know. It is a triple test, and it's probably going to go up, but I just don't like. I don't know. I'm just not confident. If I'm not confident, I don't know what's going on, then I'm going to stay out of it. If it does close above the EMA, then I'd say it's probably likely going to go up. How do you know? How do you know he's... Oh, is he showing it in his as a Facebook? If that closes above there, I'd say that it's likely to push up. Okay, I am tempted to take... No, it's too big a risk.
Order filled.
These highs. It is a big risk. Where are we now? 35 and a quarter, 35, 37. I'd say bounce, bounce, bounce. I'd say it's likely we're going to hit that. I'm going to come out maybe 6 ticks, I think. No, let's leave it there. Let's get this up. Go on, smash through it. Okay. Oh no. Come on, have some confidence, get up there. It is a 1-2, it is a triple test. I'll let it move a bit, but I think it'll be okay. I might get out of this one. Come on, push up. Come on, have some confidence, Lancy boy. Come on. That's quite strong, that is. Come on. Okay, let's just have some faith. My faith's going dramatically. I'm going to try and get out of this. I'm not a fan of this, I've got to say. Oh dear. 3.75 risk. Got a bad feeling. It's going to take out a load of longs here. Bad feeling. I'm going to get out. Break even +1.
Target filled.
Yeah. I just did not like that. I did not like that. Sensible. Out for break even. I mean, it may smash through it. I don't know. I just don't like the way it came up and came back. But yeah, I'm quite happy to get out there. One is clearly a triple test. But I just don't like the way it's all stacking up there. I think I made the right decision. I don't know what's gone on there. IPA's never triggered. strange. Why did they not trigger? 24. 24.
Order submitted.
Why is there only one showing? One PA showing.
Order cancelled.
That's strange. For exact quantity. I don't know what's going on here. Yes. Yes. Why is only...
Order submitted.
Only one's working for some reason.
Order cancelled.
I do not know why. I'm not sure why only one's working. What's going on? Exact quantity. Lead account is 24. Lead account is 24. Why is it not working? Okay, let's shut it down and try it again. Strange. New flowbox. Okay. Okay, lead account. PA24. PA24. ESO923. ESO923 exact quantity. All the PAs. 1, 2, 3. 79 I don't, but 78 I do.
Order submitted.
I know it's working. Strange. Okay, no harm, no foul.
Order cancelled.
I made $25 in one account. Not a fan of this. Now, it may work and push up, but I don't know. I'm just not a fan of it. Waiting for the second entry at the highs, yeah. Triple test. That's the type of triple test I'd like once, twice, 3 times. Now, it went up. I must have gone. Let's have a look. Yes, I went a bit higher than that. So, I don't like the way it's... Trouble is, the more times it goes up, it can fail then, and it can drag in loads of longs. That's fine. I got out for I got $17 on one account. Much better to get out and keep your sanity. And Apex goes wonky. Yeah. Well, that was a replicanter. That was for some reason. It didn't trigger everything, so I just shut it down, reopened, and it's working fine. So I don't quite know. Happens all too often. To be fair, Replicanto, I have very little problems with. Everything seems to... That's the first time I've noticed that to happen. But I did mess around and with toggling on and toggling off. So whether I did something, I don't know. But I think it's always good, probably then, just to stick in an order submitted. And just check it is copying 5 other accounts there.
Order cancelled.
Okay, so there is a second entry long off here. I'm just not a fan of anything in here at the moment. It's clearly gone choppy. Shame, actually. I should have just gone out before the highs. Now, I wonder. Got a bigger channel working here. It's hard to say, isn't it? Let's keep that there for now. Okay, that's right. So 1, 2, 3. It does look like it's going to eventually work. It is slowly working up, isn't it? So if I'd have held that one, I think I'd have comfortably got my points. The trouble is, when it does this, it gets nerve-wracking. Now, if I've got 10 or 15,000 in each PA account, and I know I'm comfortable and making money, then my confidence level to be able to just hold it when it goes sideways will be okay. Now, I came in a little bit late, to be honest with you, but I was about a tick short, wasn't I? Something like that. I think it got up to $175, so I'd say that's going to push up now. There's some liquidity levels just above there, around about there. There's probably still some stops here. Okay, so one more tick and that would have given me it. There we go. Okay, so it would have worked. And a lot of the times when it goes sideways, it does work. It's just I'm not a fan of when it comes back. But if I was patient and just left it, it would have worked okay. So at least it's okay to say the trade did work. But there you go. Okay, so that's played out now. But anyway, it only triggered one, so mind you, if it would have been, if I had lost it, it would have worked out okay. Excuse me a second. Sorry about that. Okay, so this could be a correction. So we've had one leg, 2 legs back. So a 2-legged correction, and we could get some more upward movement now. Max says enter on correction, so let's put something in early and see if it works. Maybe there. We'll see. The more you do this day by day, you'll just keep getting better and better at it. That's my hope anyway. So, actually, let's put it there. Now we've had a break, and it looks like a 2-legged correction, and then it's pushing higher, doesn't it? So, let's see how this works. Comes back here and works off here, I'd say it's going to continue higher. Now there is some liquidity at 400 now, and there's some at 408 up here. 44, yeah, 4408 there. So I'd say, from what I'm seeing, I have a channel from the earlier lows. I did try and draw something there. Let's see if it works now. Okay. Yep, I like that. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, so this is a nice sized channel. If you can get near early, you can usually get a good. So if I'd have sat there, say, you know what I mean, half the time when I get in these trades, if I'd have just had the confidence to leave them. The only trouble is it was quite a big risk, and I wasn't a fan of it. So. But that'll come with time. You know, building those accounts in those early months are a nerve-wracking time. So once you can manage to get them and grow them and build them, then you'll have the confidence to stay in a trade. But I would say, in all fairness, the trades that I get out of, I would say probably, I don't know, maybe 80% of them would have gone on to work. So, in fact, I'm going to start marking these down. I know I was going to say to you, does anybody journal? Do they? I started jotting stuff down in a book, but there is various journaling software out there. Is anybody can recommend one? Because I know there's paid ones and there's free ones. I've just been interested to see what the free ones are like. Okay, second entry long off here. I would prefer it to come back here and retest this again. It is a second entry long, but I'm not a fan of that. It's a bit pie in the sky, that is. Okay, that fits okay, hopefully. Let's see if we got anything from Mac yet. Yes, excellent. Excuse me a sec. It's all right. Okay, midday charts. $23. Yes. Oh, I'm logged in. Oh, you're on the left. Yeah, okay. Still haven't logged in. Log in. Log in. Very strong here. So if we can get a couple of legs down here, this looks like it might turn into quite a nice trend, actually. Let's see what Mac has got for us. Okay, yeah, he's got that. Oh, actually, he had it how I had it, and he's got it as a break now. Trouble is, yeah, see, Mac hasn't got that. Who mentioned that? Wood, I think, didn't he? Wood didn't have that. He's got that one, and he's got that one, and he's just left the rest. Okay. Yeah. Sideways. And he's got that from right from the very bottom. But he's got it tight here. But thing is, yeah, Matt's got his here like that. But then if it continues higher, you can obviously open it up. And actually, touches here, nice touches there, touches there. So I'd say, obviously, Mac stopped about here, but he hasn't seen it push up further when he had. So let me have a look at this. I'm looking at the daily here. Could go up or down, really. I mean, that looks okay to me, it does. I can't lie. It goes from here, touches a bunch of times here, touches. And it is still working up after this, so I think that's okay. So if we can get two legs down. Okay, leg and leg possibly. Or is this just fail break out of this? That's the tough thing, really, isn't it? That looks like okay to me. I mean, that is a channel, but it's gone sideways and is opening up, and it does look like it's working up. So, strong liquidity there and up here. There's some, yeah, there is some down here at 80. But let's have a look. That would be nice. Interesting. Leg down, leg down. Maybe it'll give us a higher low. See where it closes. Perfect. That's where we wanted it to close. Right on that measured move as well, so right in the bottom. So you've got to be careful to get trapped to the short side here. So try go high once. If that gets higher twice and triggers and goes lower, that's where the higher low comes in. But it does often go up, then goes sideways, and then goes up again. So that looks like that. And I would say after this, probably somewhere in the region of that. 2 legs, 2 legs. Yeah, I know traders who would take that bar there, but I'm waiting for the higher low. But from what I can see here, touched. You can't deny that line. But it may come out here, and that line may be at a less slight angle to incorporate this. Nose. Trouble is that's an inside bar, so it adds a bit of risk. Okay, let's see if it triggers the failure. I want a little push up here, and then a drop below to trigger it, and then a higher low. Let's just check these are working.
Order submitted. Order cancelled.
Got to get in the habit of using this. Yep, same here. We've had 2 legs back, haven't we? So that's a good sign. The fact that it's closing there, I prefer it to trigger above, really. Then that would trigger anybody who's thinking about going short, and then trigger it and push up and give us a higher low. Because a lot of people might have a channel here and a bit of sideways, but to me, we have a channel, bit of a correction, then another push up. So we can get a decent signal bar here. I'm quite happy to sort of ride it up a bit. Yeah, that's the trouble when it doesn't get up to these highs. It can break. And I did mention there is a possibility that that could be slightly wider to incorporate that. Not a fan at the moment. Tell you what, for now, let's just put that back there for now. Let's leave like that there for now. And let's do this and see if this gives us any more information. Okay, so at the moment, there is a possibility, see, that we could come down. Mind you, if this wasn't it's hard to say whether this was a channel or not. I think it looked like a channel because it touched here, here, and here, and here. So it's hard to know whether we're going to, so really, in all honesty, the best, rather than having that bigger channel, sometimes the bigger channels, doing them too early, can get me into trouble. That's clearly a channel. That's clearly a break. And we're pushing up, made a new high. So that's played out. But we're going sideways, and you could call that a failed break out of there, which it did. So I don't know. I can see us coming down. I think that is a channel. I think it's a spiking channel. Now, I might be wrong. Touch. So hard to say, really, isn't it? I get why people think it isn't. Yeah, let's get rid of it, actually. It's looking less and less like one, in all fairness, but perhaps there is. Perhaps there's 2 legs down there, a bit of sideways, a couple of chances to get up, and then down some more. I think this is looking like it's going to break these lows, personally. Yeah, it does see, yeah, exponential trader, yeah. Does seem like it's rolling over, doesn't it? Maybe the case. Okay, that's clearly a range. That's clearly a channel, so we've got a channel with a range. I thought we may have a couple of legs back and then work higher, but maybe we're not. Okay. 400 is still strong. There's some down at 80, which is down here. Yeah. That's actually the strongest lump of liquidity I can see. There's 570 orders down here. So this for me. Now, I'd say this is coming down, and on the plus side, if we can get a break from it, then I might be interested in going short then. Any trades yet? Not for me. Well, I actually took that. It would have worked in the end, but I got out of it for a tick. I just had a bad feeling. I'm not a fan of going sideways, so I got out of it for a tick. It was just a tick on one of my accounts. The others didn't trigger for some reason, but everything's looking rosy
Order
now.
submitted.
There should be 5 in there, yeah. My 3 other PAs. 1 PA's there.
Order
2
cancelled.
more evaluations, which one's passed and the other one will pass after one trade. So that will give me 6 PAs then. As I mentioned, I blew one of them. I took $2,000 out and just took it too fine, but that's okay. I managed to get $4,000 out of that one account this month, so at least that's given me some investing money. So the only downside to these is we've had a break out the top of this range. This could be a break out the bottom, and it may come back in. I don't think it will, based on these levels down here that I can see, but it has to be on your mind. Fail breakout. Yeah, I'm a little bit unsure exactly what's going on there. That looks like a leg. We may get another leg. It's hard to say. It's another bit of an odd looking day, I've got to say. A little bit of sideways there. In fact, I probably wouldn't even class that as that now, in all fairness. And a new low. A couple of pushes up, push down. May even been something like that. Don't know that one. Okay, if we can get a proper second leg up here, then I'll go short. If it's not a decent second leg, as in a proper second leg, I'm not interested. Okay, now we've got a few more people on the stream. I will mention this again. I mentioned earlier, I had a comment yesterday that from a guy, not a nasty comment, just a normal, nice comment. See what you think of this. Saying, let's have a look. Max strategies are 4 ticks profit taken with rollers. I think he meant runners. Your trade today was a good win with 4 or 5 ticks. Max said 4 ticks take profit is the highest profit percentage. Well, I'd say it is, absolutely. He has tried even 2 ticks or 8 ticks, but 4 ticks is the highest. Well, that's like saying 2 ticks is going to be even higher than 4, you know, so that's from years of statistics. Now, I get that. But also, I looked at Max charts for the last 8 days, and it marked a grand total of 107 trades. 105 of them made over 2 points. It was 2 that didn't. And on those 105 that did, you're making 100% more profit than the 2 that didn't. Now, the numbers don't lie. The maths never lies. So I get what he's done over the years and that, but things change, market conditions change. And not only that, he's you know, just by that statement that guy made, the percentage is higher. It's going to be. Now, it's only by a fraction, but it's going to be higher. Less ticks equals a higher win percentage. But on the grand scheme of things, out of 107 trades, 105 made you 100% more profit. It's a no-brainer for me. You know, when I started learning this 2 years ago, Mac teaches maximum of 2-point risk. Tick above, tick below. Well, straight away, that's a 2 3/4 point risk. So your risk's up straight away. So if your risk's up because the bars are bigger, your profit has to grow because the bars are bigger. You know, your profit bars don't get smaller and your risk bars get bigger. You know, it's a no-brainer for me. You know, it's not any clearer. 105 made 100% more profit and 2 didn't. You know, it's a no-brainer. If it worked 90% of the time, that's about 99% of the time. So I don't know. But, yeah. Absolutely. If you expand your stop, your win percentage has to go up. If the bars are, say, 30% bigger now than they were, your risk is going to be 30% bigger, and your profit's going to be 30% bigger. It's simple maths. I'm not saying Mac's wrong. That's the way he's been doing it for years. Now, I will say this: the 1 point scalp that Mac makes is just his profit, his basic wage, and where he makes his real money is on his 5 runners. I mean, Mac will know how to read these markets. He'll be able to take massive runners, and that's where he'll get most of his money. Interesting. See what I mean about that? It may push back in. If you're looking for a short there, it's pushed back in. So that's why I wasn't looking for a short there. But yeah, you know, things change. But, you know, I suppose it's only natural as a trader, as you sort of progress and learn, you adapt your own way of doing things. Some things work well. I mean, look how profitable the Penguin guy is. He takes an average of a couple of trades a day, on average 2 to 3 trades a day, and he makes an average of 6 points. And that's with, you know, a reasonable amount of losers as well. And he goes for a minimum of 1-to-1. And, you know, in a lot of cases, I'd say his average 1-to-1 is at least 3 points, because a lot of the times if he takes a trade, he'll let it move a bit. And he looks like a smart trader to me. So the thing is, Mac's been doing it that long. You know, it works for him. So why change? If it's not broken, why fix it, or why think about fixing it? But obviously things change. You know, the world's always changing. Market conditions are changing. You know, there was things around in Mac's day that things are different today. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the numbers don't lie. And if you know, over those last 8 days, you know, I saw 107 and 100, and you know, if Mac's only taking an average of 2 a day, you could probably go for 4 or 5 or 6 months without even seeing a 2.1. No, even longer than that. If I'm, you know, if he's marking 100, bearing in mind he's marking the trades that are a setup. And he's marking them based on what he looks at one point. But, you know, in fact, those two that didn't make it were on 1 day, strangely enough. The other 7 days, 105 of them, all of them would have won, would have made the 2 points. It's a no-brainer for me. If you're making 10% more profit, then I'd say, yeah, it's not worth it. But you're making 100% more profit. You're doubling it every time. But that's just my opinion, my thoughts on it. But for me, it's, you know, my opinion really doesn't matter because it's, you know, the numbers never lie. You do the numbers, they're always right. But as I say, market conditions change, you know, ideas change, different methods change, you know, things are constantly changing. So, same again, another bloody hard, choppy day, which is bouncing all over the place. I don't even trade what he does, but the company is nice. Yeah, absolutely. I think Mac's an absolute gentleman. And, you know, I mean, I trade Mac's strategy, absolutely, because I think it's brilliant. All I do is go for a little bit more profit. That's the only difference. But a lot of people do now. Even, you know, people like Marco and Daniel, who we know to be the more experienced traders in the group, go for 6 ticks now. But, you know, I didn't think about it. I didn't decide to do it. I looked at the numbers. And the good thing is you can look back over your trades and go, yeah, that one made. In fact, I worked out once 80% of my good trades made over 6 points. So maybe that's a conversation for another day. Okay, so we got a break of this. Push back in, yeah. See, I thought of that, the break out of this, and often we get the same there. So, I mean, it wasn't a good setup, but I bet less experienced traders may have gone short there. And that triggered you by a couple of ticks and that, but you just can't trade this really, can you? I think at some point when I put a trade in, mind you, even people like the Penguin Buy guys sometimes get out of a trade if it goes sideways, and when that pushed up and started doing this. But what I will say from experience, a lot of the trades I get in, certainly I'd say 3/4 of them would have worked. And as long as I'm going 1 for 1, it's still profitable to leave them. But because my balances are low and I'm slowly building and slightly higher risk, and I'm probably being more cautious, which is all right. Another frustrating day. In fact, probably do that there, really, couldn't we? In fact, I don't think you can call that a real range, can you? Marco done, did someone say? Let's have a look. Somebody mentioned earlier, Marco was done. He'd taken a trade and was done. I can't see nothing on the Facebook group. Does anybody know if they got access to him or to his trades? Anybody know? No. What the hell is going on here? It'd be nice to think that was the case, wouldn't it? But yeah, 1 or 2 trades a day. If there really was 10 or 12 high probability trades, he would certainly take more, wouldn't he? But it's like, as I say, it's quite easy to mark these ones after the fact, and that's sometimes why it can get a bit confusing for less experienced traders, because they're looking at these thinking, why am I not seeing all these 13 or 15 trades? And then sometimes maybe they take a few more risky trades. You can go for a higher number of points, but sometimes you have to take some heat. Yeah, that's the hard bit. Maybe if you've got a nice fat bank balance, then, you know, if you're making good money, then yeah, maybe you can. I mean, he said he's only looking. Sorry, got you. Yeah, yeah. He only takes one trade. He trades. He's got 10 accounts. He trades 3 contract size and 6 ticks, and just does one. I think that's sensible. Makes $200 a day times 10, a little over actually, even after fees. So it's $2,000 a day, $40,000 a month. Now, even if you lose a few or a couple, and you shave $5,000 off that, it's still a stinking ton of money, isn't it? In fact, I went out with my wife earlier for a cup of coffee and a scone. And I was walking past Curry's in the UK. It's just like an electrical shop, sell computers, cookers and all that sort of stuff. And I saw my ideal vehicle outside, Land Rover Velar, gunmetal grey with 21-inch gunmetal grey alloys. Wow, I love looking at stuff like that. It doesn't half inspire me to do well at trading. And my wife's ideal car was parked two doors up. She likes 4-door Mini Coopers in white. So our perfect cars were more or less sat side by side. Just wondering if there's something a bit bigger going on here. Okay, touch. It's hard to say, really, isn't it? I'm not even a massive fan of that, really. The trouble is, if you get these wrong, they can affect your bias. Mini Cooper Clubman. Yeah, I think it is. I think it said Clubman on the back. Did it say Clubman? Yeah, I think it did, yeah. Yeah, the 4-door ones. I'm not a fan of them, really. I used to have a Mini. It was one of the only new cars I've had. I had a brand new 2005 Mini Cooper in black eye purple, or black eye blue, they call it. A Mini Cooper. Nice, I liked them, but I'm not a fan of the 4-door ones. They're a little bit too bulbous and a bit weird, but yeah, she likes the Minis. and I would love to buy one. I'd love to surprise a one, hopefully, in the not-so-distant future. It'd be nice to do that. Christmas would be nice. Oof. Breaks the 88, it's tanking, you reckon? So, may well. You got a leg down, two-legged correction. In fact, that looks to me like dare I say again, a penguin guy. You'll say that we've had a leg down, made 2 attempts to go higher. Unfortunately, there's nothing really. I don't whether he put his order there and put it above there. I don't know. Maybe. In fact, there is a failure there, isn't it? Isn't there? In fact, I'm not even sure this is valid, really. It's probably more just like that, isn't it? And we seem out of there, but it does seem like a leg up. A couple of pushes up. I do get the impression we're coming down, but unfortunately, I can't just jump in on that one. I'm not a fan of them. It's probably just going to drop, but nevertheless, so many times I see these and do nothing because you can't, and they just drop. That would make us a new low for sure. So perhaps that is a channel, and then we had a push a little bit sideways, made a couple of attempts to go higher, and now we're working down. Yeah, see, it's possible, but it's just too early, isn't it? We've touched once, touched twice. Well, maybe once, twice, 3 times. Maybe that is a channel. Touch once, touch twice, 3 times. They say 3 times. Anybody else got that channel drawn like that? Incidentally. What do you think of the lorry driving for a job? A friend of mine wants to do it. You UK then, are you, Chris? It's okay, mate. Agency. I think the average wage in the UK for an agency driver is about £18 an hour, which is about sort of $23, $24, something like that. And you can pick and choose your work, so it's not a bad way to earn a living. It's not a physical job. You're always, you're in a nice air-conditioned cab in the summer. You've got your heat in the winter, so it's not a bad way to earn a living, to be honest with you. Once you've got your HGV licence, you'll always have some work. So, yeah, it's not a bad way. UK, yeah. Remind me where you Cheshire? I can't remember, you said you were Cheshire now. Or is it not Cheshire? You like Warrington or slightly north of Warrington? I can't remember now. There's always plenty of work, put it that way. I spent a lot of time driving fridges around, and it's not too bad. You go to a big regional distribution centre, and you paperwork in, back out, back in, chuck a video on, have a cup of tea and a sandwich, and then they unload you, and then you just drive back. It's a lot of the work. Trunking, it's okay actually. It's not bad. Nice modern vehicles. They're all up to date, heated seats, heated steering wheels, all fully air conditioned with fridges and all that. Yeah. I took off that second entry short. Don't know how I feel about it after the fact. Yeah. So we've touched here, and touched here. There's a leg down. If it does work down, which it looks like it's starting to. How long did I do it for? About 13 or 14 years, I think. I drove an oil tanker for a company for about just over 11 years. And I've probably done about 3 years on and off with agencies. But it's okay. It's not a physical work. You tend to work more hours because obviously it's not physical, and just by the nature of the driving around the UK, those things only do about 56 miles an hour, so you can't really get anywhere in a hurry, and things take time. So you're probably going to average around 10, 11 hours a day on average, maybe a bit longer some days. But yeah, it's not a bad way. If you've got a license, you'd always get work, put it that way. It'd be sure to work, and you can pick and choose it. I can go and do some fridge work, or I can do some trunking, or I can drive into Europe if I want. There's always, I get emails all the time for work. So yeah, it's useful to have your license. Definitely. it does look like it's slowly working down here. And maybe see, we had that break at the top here. Maybe some people going long there thinking we're pushing up. So, I mean, we had a little bit of movement in this top tier, then we had a push down, then a push back up, and now we're... I mean, if this is valid, but, you know, they usually go by 3 touches, which it is, and it certainly looks like all this slightly down movement, not the steep stuff, is working in this top tier. So, I would say this is going to work down, and as it was mentioned, if it gets below 88, it's probably going to drop, and that's where 88 is. So I think when it is below 88, I think you're going to see some sharper move down to break these lows, and this lump of liquidity at 80, and there's some at 85, which is here. So I'd certainly expect this to come down to here. Maybe get another pullback. Yeah, I think you might be right, mate. If we can get another second entry and have another touch of this, that would be even nicer. The midline seems to fit as well. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? A leg down and then a pullback. So we got one leg down, then we got sort of a couple of legs up and then working down, unfortunately. So you may have looked at that and got nervous. I'm not a fan of them when they literally touch and drop. I much prefer them to push through. And taking that's a bit further away, but as Max says, enter on corrections. We've got a leg and a correction, a push up, a break, and then 2 attempts to go higher. But this is going down for me. Unfortunately, it's a typical story nowadays. It just doesn't seem to give us an entry. And if it continues this, we're going to have to maybe take more riskier trades. Yeah, this is going to break the low of this at the moment. It has done, so I can see it coming down a bit sharper. Yeah, you're right. It does look, I mean, we've had this, whether you call this a channel or not, I don't know. Some may, it's 50-50, some may, some don't. Matt took it off, but, sorry, didn't mark it, so I took it off. But we've had some sideways. You try to go up a bit, we've gone a bit sideways, and we have tried to go higher, but it just doesn't seem to be working. So I think, you know, gravity seems to be taking over. Now, there's not a huge amount of liquidity up here. Most of the liquidity is around about 85, but the strongest is here, which would tell me we're going to break these lows. And that would sort of make sense. And maybe, because obviously these liquidity areas tend to drop. The more the market comes down, people are dragging their stop down, aren't they? Or dragging their sort of take profit levels and maybe securing with their stops. But I would certainly say if we can get a second entry, or I think that's certainly for me. I mean, it's working lovely off that midline, isn't it? Second entry up here and retest this again for me. But I think what you have to be aware of is we've had a channel down there and we've had a break and we've had a new low. But I think the bigger picture is telling me we're going down. So if I can get a decent second entry and a nice bearish bar, then I'm interested in that. So stop there, come down a bit and then push up again. Liquidity levels are strong from 86 to 85, which is plenty enough room for some points. And even stronger down at 80, which is there. So I don't know whether it's, I think a measured move is going to take us a lot further down there, but I think we're due a pullback on the daily. If you look at the daily, we could certainly have a pullback. Yeah, it's going to take us down to 55 area. Okay, that's a good start. Come on, get up. Typically, as soon as it goes near, it just drops. You're swinging this. Yeah. Come on, get up, you tosser. That's the frustrating thing. A lot of the times it gets close and then just drops. It doesn't even. And it's as if people are saying, oh, this is close enough for a setup. I'm not waiting until everyone else gets in. You know, you took that big red short. What, 1407? So about here, that one there. Yeah. I wouldn't be shocked if the Penguin guy had his order there and his stop above here. It's about 4 points, maybe. Yeah, it probably is. He'd probably have his stop above there and he'd probably have his order there. So it's 4.25. It's not huge for him. And I wouldn't be surprised if he takes 1-to-1 minimum. But for me, we've touched, and we've touched again. We're clearly working in this top tier. So for me, this looks quite valid. More ads. Yeah, it's because I'm monetized, Sam. You get whatever channel. If I'm assuming you're not paying the, if you pay the $9.99, see, I do. I pay $9.99 and I get ad-free YouTube. It's just because it's monetized, mate. That's all. Once you get over 1,000 subscribers. Push up, you bugger. Come on. Yeah, it's typical. It gets close to the EMA and then, unfortunately, I just can't get in on that. Because as soon as you do, it triggers you. That's the whole idea of a second entry. So as soon as you do, it triggers you, pushes up and gives you a second entry. God, that's frustrating. Like Max says, enter on corrections. And to me, that was probably about the best area to... In fact, you may have taken a limit order there and maybe put your stop there and taken that one. Yeah, I think you're right, Chris. I think you'll get 1-to-1, mate. In fact, you've probably got 1-to-1 now, haven't you? So if you take that there and you put your stop there, there's your 1-to-1, isn't it? I think you'll piss that, mate, in all honesty. In fact, you'd probably put that a bit higher, wouldn't you, if you took that there? Yeah, you're only a few ticks away. It's going to burst straight through that, no problem. It's going to drop pretty quickly in a minute, I think. Maybe some stops around here. You'll get that 1-to-1 easy. Out on a trade, 16 ticks. Good on you, mate. 4 points. That's nothing to be sneezed at, that. 4 points is where I love to be. That's good, that is. 4 points. You get 3 of them. 3 of them a week on 2 contracts. That's $5,000 a month. Yeah. That's going to smash through there, no problem. Yep, job done. Yeah, I'm just not a fan of that much risk at the moment, but when my bank balance or account balance starts to get a bit more, then I may take on some of these corrections and slightly bigger. But I like the way Penguin does. He lets it start to move in that direction first to confirm that's where we're going. And I think then your odds of being successful in the trade drop up dramatically. Yeah, it's going to push down strongly in a minute. We're going to have a big red bar, another big red bar, and make this. There's liquidity here, 85 and 82 and 80. So, yeah, done. Good on you. Good on you. Yeah, 4407. That's what you think we're going, Sania, 4407. Let's get something down here just to mark this bottom. Who's the Penguin guy? He doesn't live stream, but he puts his video on. I'll find him for you, Robin. He usually puts his video on a little bit, well, an analysis of the day. Penguin Trades he's called. That's the fella there. He's a nice guy, actually. That's him there. But look, this is his daily, yeah? Let's have a quick look at this. Up 8 points, up 7.5 points, up 6 points, up 6 points. Yeah, and he's having losses. He's got a loss there, he's got a loss there, he's got a loss there. So, but look, 8, 7.5, 6, 6, 1.75, 5.2. He's got to average 6, 10 points, 4, 5, 3, 7. He's got to average 6 points a day. In my opinion, 6 points is brilliant. If I could, I wish I could average 6 points a day. But you may lose a little bit more. He probably has maybe an 80-85% rate, but if a lot of the time he's taking 2 to 1. So that's what makes the difference. So in my opinion, that's the way to go. Similar to where the gorilla guy goes. Now he goes for a minimum of 6 points, which is 1 to 2, isn't it? So he'll see this and then a correction, and yeah, that's where he sort of goes. Trouble is, we're close to the bottom here. It's much better to go short around here if you can, rather than we haven't hit the bottom yet though. Anytime, mate, anytime. But yeah, watch his videos. He's a very technical guy. He reads these markets exceptionally well, and anybody that does that is on my radar. I mean, we've got two ends of the spectrum here. We've got trading for a 1 point scalp, and we've got trading for, you know, potentially 6 points on 1 to 2. There's a world of difference there. Okay, so see, if you say there's this channel, we've had a break and we've made a new low, we could push up. We're also bouncing off this area, very close to it. So you don't know whether we're going to go up from here. So it's a bit hard. The gorilla guy has a low win rate. You reckon, do you? Maybe. Maybe, yeah. It's probably why he goes for a lot more. Trouble is, that's soul destroying, isn't it? That's why I stopped, you know, moving my take profit down and just trying to capture stop. I just found it too stressful. Yeah, I mean, you've got to win a high profit, you know, sort of a profit ratio. If you're only winning 20%, that's why I came off for that. It's soul destroying, that is. Oh, if you really are, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. I like his confidence in it, but yeah, if you're only winning that much, you gotta get a lot of points, haven't you? Equals a lot more losses, equals a lot more pain and discomfort. Okay, possible second entry short. Trouble is, we've got a little channel going there, so not a fan. Although I suppose you could argue that's it. You could argue it's there. We've got a break. It's hard to say. Let's remove it for now. What to do? What to do? Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, something about this I'm not comfortable with. Because you've got a channel here with a break and another channel. That's not far off a measured leg, but it's just not a fan of this. That doji there. Lower high, yeah, that's the better option. Yes, I think it might be. I don't know. I think it's 50-50. I mean, you could say there's a channel like that. You could say there's your micro channel, there's your break and your new high with a bearish bar. So it might be right, but also you could argue that. In fact, now I think it's out. It's safe to say it's out of there, but I'd rather lower high. I've seen these before. They push down a bit and then they come back and they push down a bit more and they tease you to get in it. And as soon as I jump in, guaranteed it goes up. If we can get a lower high, that might be an option there. I'm just aware that it is a bit sideways here. We have come close to this bottom, so there is a possibility that people might be buying off here, or certainly less inclined to go short that close to it. Or we may just come down and clip these bottoms, or we may have another leg. There's so many different variables, but I'm not a fan of it. It's a little bit looking, I don't know, a little bit nerve-wracking. So, new low. Tried to go low once, tried to go low twice. Failure. Failed second entry short. I would prefer that to trigger and then come down really bearish. And if that happens, that's something that would interest me going shorter. But it's a failure. If a lot of people are seeing this, then they go in, try to go low once, try to go low twice. Let's go long here, smash up through the shorts, make a ton of money. But I would prefer this to push up, trigger this, and then come down nice and bearish. One tick below there would be perfect. Okay, that's triggered now. It may go up, but it might not. Yeah, maybe it is looking like it's going up. Or come down, go once, twice, three, triple test. Yeah, I thought that may happen, which is why I left that alone. So it was a second entry short. It's just got risk written all over that for me, and rightly so. Lots of times where I'd have taken that trade and got messed up. Yeah, it's again really choppy, difficult day, isn't it? I'm not even convinced of that, really. It's clearly going sideways, but I suppose it's something that's working in, isn't it, I suppose? Okay, so let's get rid of that. I think that's irrelevant now. We've got a channel, we've got a break, and we've got a new low. Possible overshoot. Yeah, possible. It only really touched once on the backside, so I'd say it's probably that channel. A couple of legs of correction, another leg down, and that's the end of it, I think. If we go from here, it's probably played a measured move, isn't it? Not far off. Uh, 4390. Operators buying zone. 4390. 4390, 4392. Operators buying zone. I'm not sure what that means, but I'll put it there anyway. Operators, well, obviously someone's buying there, but yeah, I'm not even convinced what we're doing here. I don't know whether they're going up or down. We had that channel, clearly had to break a new high, had that channel breaking a new low, had this channel, looks like an overshoot. Tough day, innit? Okay, I think it's fair to say, I don't know, could say that's a bit of an overshoot, possibly, who knows? I don't know. Maybe not. Yeah, I think that was close to the bottoms. Probably why it wasn't an attractive place to go short around here then. If you did take that one, it was a second entry, but it's just clearly got risk written all over it, and rightly so. It came down a couple of 3 ticks and then rocketed up. You're done here, Robin. Excellent. Have a great weekend, mate. And I'll be back here on Monday, hopefully, with a profitable Friday under my belt. Oh. That there, yeah. Are you about there? Yeah. Okay. Liquidity right up there. So, say that's likely. This is probably the target. Fortunately, once you get so far up and this is looking like the target, it just stays away from this bottom trend and the EMA, because obviously it's strong enough for people to think, oh, it's going up, let's just buy, let's buy. I'm assuming that, by the way. But okay, excuse me just for a minute. Just going to take a quick bathroom break. Okay, interesting. Overshoot could result in a reversal. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that, bud. Are you off, are you? Have a great weekend, Brooke. Have a great weekend. I appreciate that, mate. Thank you. Don't rule out a two-tiered channel here. See these two bearish bars. Do you think it would come back to the EMA? Trouble is, you just don't know, do you? A little bit sideways with a little bit of a drop and then a push back up. Could be a bear trap, yeah. Might be right. Trouble is, there's no way to enter this really, apart from maybe putting an order on there and going for a couple of points. But the trouble is, there's no guarantees it's going to hit the top, and there's only just over a couple of points to the top. It'd be nice to have a tick and get a little bit lower and then push up. Trouble is, there is a lot of resistance around there. Clearly see it, can't you? You have to take that into consideration. Clearly see it there. Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. A few times there, support and resistance. So that definitely plays a part. May need another run up to get through it. A little drop would be nice. Fade this little range. Second entry long down here would be lovely. Trouble is, there is a lot of support here, so be so careful. A lot of liquidity at 98. That's where I'm seeing above this. So if we can get a second entry off here, Sania mentioned a buying range here, 4,390 to 4,392. Push down below and clip some of this, and then push up. Second entry long. Fade this little bit of a range here. Leg, 2 legs of correction, and then higher. Leg, 2 legs of correction, lower. Leg, 2 legs of correction, higher. Leg, 2 legs of correction, higher. Leg, 2 legs of correction. It's just risky taking that one for me. It might work now. I suppose you're fading this, aren't you? Just not a fan. I prefer a leg and another leg, really. I don't know, it's just risky in my opinion. Well, it's clearly a second entry long. You could say you're fading this, but it hasn't quite touched the EMA. I prefer to drop a bit further there. I mean, Sania mentioned this buying range. It just might trigger and come down, drop below here, hit this and shoot up. It might work. Trouble is now, so many times when it breaks out, it goes quite a bit of distance before it eventually pushes up. So it could come down here a couple of times. It could have a leg and another leg. Same with this one. A lot of times they used to break out a little bit of a couple of legs up and then down, but now it just seems to be a lot bigger moves before it eventually, you know, I mean, that's going to stop that one out without a doubt, I think. And not just that, we got close to the bottoms here. Look what happened, it rocketed up. We're close to the tops here. In fact, I'd argue we've actually hit the tops. So that failure, that might be a failure there that traps those shorts, but even that, I just don't want to take that one really, just in case we do push up. It's just so hard. Could be some double traps there, that's the trouble. See how bearish that gets. For me, it needs to push through the EMA really, and it's not going to do that. Okay, so far you're still in the game. You may get away with it. Yeah, you may get away with it. It's hard to say, but I'm just not a fan of this resistance. It's clearly hit there a bunch of times, and it hit there another twice, and, you know, pulled down straight away. So I just don't want to get involved in this. It might go a bit like this before it pushes up, if it indeed it can get up. it's another tough day today. It's a lot of chop, a lot of up, down, loads of stems. Very sort of barcodey, barbed wirey. Nothing worse than being stuck in a trade when it's doing like this and not giving you the option to get out. Doji City, yeah, you're not wrong. You may get away with it, I don't know. I've got a feeling it's going to stop you out, though. I prefer them to push through the EMA and then push up. And if that happened here, it would also come into contact with this buying area that Sania mentioned. So if it came down there, picked up some buy orders and then pushed up bullish, then that would be an area of interest for me just to ride up close to the tops. I mean, it may be okay. It might start to, it might slowly start to work up. It possibly is. It's hard to tell, but yeah. As Exponential Trader says, it's Doji City. It just doesn't know what it's doing. There's a bit of uncertainty there. We're going up, we're going down. But I think it's going to work up. It looks like it's working. So I'd say this is okay. It could also be trapping some longs there. Yeah, it's just uncertainty. It's not a great setup. That second entry long, it's not quite at the EMA. I prefer it to push through. And then obviously it went sideways. That tells me that it wasn't a great place to get in. Normally these good trades, every man and his dog will jump in them and off they'll go. Like the good trades move, and they move really well. What's the whiskey tonight? I've got a bottle of Aberlour I opened about 3 days ago. 12-year-old. About 3 days ago. There's nearly a quarter of it gone already. I had a couple of doubles last night, a double or two the night before. But I was looking at one earlier, actually. I had a voucher for my birthday, and I was looking at the whiskies in Sainsbury's. Trouble is, I've had most of them. I want to have something new, so I might have to go to a more specialist one, but Aberlour tonight. I finished another bottle of Lafroig, the 10-year-old Lafroig. Oh no, tell a lie, it was the Select Lafroig. The other day. I can get through them in a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks. Probably more than I should, but yeah, this is Trap City. This is it may even people who short that see. It does look like it's working. A lot of the times when you get these little small bars that are working up, they'll eventually go, but you just don't know, do you? And the bit that's making me nervous is because we're close to this area here, which is resistance. Call that. I mean, if it is it definitely seems to be a sideways day, and obviously that's a place where it struggled to get through. I mean, it did push up there, but then it pushed down strongly, had another couple of goes, and then dropped again. So I don't really want to be going long into this. See, you may have taken that short. If you're coming off here, you might have thought, let's take that short. I think that's going to turn around and take out those. I think it'll push up and break these highs. That's what it's looking like to me, but it's uncertain. But if you took that short, I think it's going to push up, stop that shorts out. Lots of small bars